Yeah, you know what? I'll make myself bigger for a second. But hope your Tuesday's treating you well. I'm going to continue some work on our token generator, and as always, I would appreciate it if you could give us a follow on YouTube. I'll put the link up in chat. It should show up on video. But really, just at this point, it's just adding some new contracts so that you can manage your own sales and things like that. And I've been testing the contracts. It's a little challenging to test these because they're so dynamic, but doing doing a couple things to basically reinforce that if they are deployed, the idea is that it's using as standard of a contract as we can, hoping not to see people modify these too much. And the nice thing is we'll be able to track that, right? So when you deploy, I write your contract hash to a table. If you use our site and our tools, it will essentially update that. So we'll know there's a counter, it'll show updates, and it's very easy to see on chain what's been changed. Uh, and every time there's an update. So what that allows me to do is not social score contracts, but I can rate them. And if you're making tons of changes and tweaks, that should raise a red flag. And so we'll want to be able to identify those things. There's certain things that I'm putting in smart contracts that if I see them disappear, it's an immediate like I'll just. In fact, I probably will put a blacklist feature in here. Now that I think about it, that might be helpful. So we can blacklist things off the site. So if you deploy something, you can't it's best effort at that point. You could create a new wallet and deploy it at your heart's content, but we'll do what we can to make it a little more tricky to mess around with those contracts. So the second piece is so when you deploy a contract, anybody can deploy a contract right now. It works fine. There's no issue with a standard token. The problem is obviously you can't do a lot with it. Other than maybe spin it up on a DEX, provide liquidity, and go right. There's no pre-sale or anything like that. Uh, but when you connect the pre-sale, it's going to add a couple contracts, and where you'll manage those is just in our panel. And in theory, I don't want to support the sale of tokens on the site. I can't stop that because we do have an IDE that allows you to do whatever you would like. But that being said, we could, hey Andrew, we could limit we could limit it in such a way that if you wanted to run that code to participate in a pre-sale, I know what that code looks like, and so if you want to run that from our site could just pick up on that and either if it's a blacklisted contract say no, no thank you, and reject the transaction. You could run it on your own for whatever reason if you want to. And the second thing is I may institute some type of fee on those. I think that would be an obvious, easy thing to do if people are going to start hammering this for those reasons. So I just want to be prepared. If in case people do start to use this, it's not meant to be a sales portal or anything, and I don't want it to be. So it's kind of almost a deterrent. The fees are small, so that probably won't deter most. But ideally, if you have a project and you want to launch a token, you actually want to launch it. You should have your own site. You should have everything connected up. You should be able to support basic token sales. There's a couple contracts in different various repos that are public that have all the starter code for this. I plan to support this uh, on Telegram and Discord. So very soon, uh, the code to host a sale will be available for Telegram first. It's just because that's what I've been working in lately. So you could manage the process through our site, through the bot. If you're going to use the bots and you want support, that's all going to be between you and whomever. I'm not offering free support on these things. It's just way too much, and we can. That'll be kind of case by case. If somebody really has like a cool project and they want a hand getting things set up, I think that's a great opportunity for others to step in and not make a quick buck, but like learn this and then help others, right? And you should be compensated for that. And so I think it gives an interesting opportunity for people who hang around the ecosystem and don't take advantage of those things, right? And if I've somebody said this before, but it's always sticks with me. If a project's not willing to pay a few dollars, stay away from them. Like, I'm not saying that they're scams. I'm just saying that if they're not able to even pay $50 USD or 50 KDA, I would be very. They're basically raising funds that they are desperate to use for whatever reasons, right? And I'm not saying you should only trust projects that come in with money. That doesn't make sense to me either. But that is a pretty big red flag. And when you get to a few red flags, you should stop and ask yourself, is the risk worth the reward? And so that's going to be a big theme because I know a couple of people who are going to be spinning up tokens. Some of them just want to do it for fun. They want to support the projects and they just want to test out the tools. And I get all that. That's cool. I doubt you'll ever see them scale. In fact, a couple of them have said they don't even want to deal with the pre-sale stuff. So we'll see how that goes. We'll evolve this over time. I think the biggest thing for me is to just get a couple things cleaned up and then turn this back over to people who want to test. So, uh, yeah, I am doing a lot of different things. So my level of wanting to support like a full token launch, other than maybe for the first one or two, will be very minimal. And what we hope to accomplish there is that people can rely on those resources. Uh, and that's again, that's it's opportunity for everybody, right? If you want to do this, you want to do it right. I'm not saying this is the right way or wrong way to do it. I'm saying it's an easy way to do it, where you get a contract that most tokens on chain will be perfectly fine running on. If you've got some real high complexity, you should make your own, and I'm totally cool with that. So, enough of me talking. I guess I should. I'll probably talk a bit, but I'm going to turn on some of this. What are we going to have? Some. Let's see. What music are we going to play today? Definitely not rain. That'll put everybody to sleep. Let's just do some. I don't know. There's no like. Hmm. Interesting. Well, maybe we'll do some indie rock. I don't know. I just want to get cracking. I got a little bit and see how it goes. All right. So I just need to make sure it's going to be a percent. Righty. Wish the chat would pop out. Hey, Ron. I thought for a second I saw Ron's name in there, and I was like, "Oh man, yeah, I did. My 3-year-old and I went and got haircuts yesterday, so his is not this short, but I didn't want to deal with it anymore, so I cut it. And I think next I'm gonna like put my camera so like you can't see it what I'm looking at, but like I think I'm gonna put my camera like on the corner over here so you just kind of can see me while it's hard because my screens are I got a 49-inch like one of those Samsung gaming monitors just because I like having all this room, but it sucks because it's so tall and so my camera's so high on the top of it, but boo-hoo, I guess. I'm sure somebody will tell me I'm doing it wrong, but that's okay. All right, so I have, let's see, sales block. Let's do sales block first. So I already have a contract that I kind of marked up. Let me grab it. I was actually going to stream for a little bit longer today, but I was waiting for my computer to finish. I was testing some IPFS changes, and apparently it took an hour to run. So now I know to parallel run that. So I'm going to run a lot of concurrent streams so that it speeds up. The challenge is it will drain my Mac of resources very quickly, as I found out. So we don't want that. And just make sure this contract is all ready. Sales. Every once in a while, I look for like things that are commented out to make sure it doesn't need to be uncommented by. So the simple thing for the sales contract that I'm going to add here, yeah, set price. So it does enforce the operator. Good. All right. Yeah, it doesn't like that at all. So we need to format it a little bit. And this would be sales. Yeah, that's what I need. Namespace. Oh, yeah. Let me just quick check. All right, they're all lowercase. All right, good. So this will have to come in after. That's fine. Namespace will be this. So these will all go up here. Find key set. These are our batches, which are going to be options, that batches, amount per batch. Okay. So keys, that. And if I remember, this is very sensitive. Return. And then let's grab that. Don't remember. Okay. Is that happy now? For real? Module sales block. Okay, that's fair. I think that's fair. It is correct. All right. So then export default sales. Okay. So I took a working contract and basically did a bunch of testing on it for different scenarios. I thought of a couple. I'm sure somebody's going to figure out a way to trip this up, and we'll work through that. But essentially, if you use the standards, I can build functions around running all these functions for you. And so there'll be two phases for sales. I'm not supporting anything else for now. The logic is dangerous at this point if I go into an uncontrolled set of code. And what I mean by that is if we have 4 sales setups, like I have a whitelist setup and then I have a regular sales setup. You can have a different price for those if you want, but I can't do like 3 whitelist times and 3 different sales times. I could, but it's not as simple as just adding. I have to modify packs and I have to test each condition. And to be frank, to be honest, it's just not worth it. If you want advanced sales stuff, build an advanced sales contract. You can still use the token generator. It doesn't matter. It's just a token at that point. But that's kind of the idea there. So, hi, Forms. I'm assuming that's Curtis. It's like the tall guy. I wish the chat would. I really wish the chat would overlay. I think there's a way, but it only overlays on the screen that you guys are watching. I'm gonna hide this YouTube message. I'll put it back on when we're done. So that's like if anybody wanted to know how I'm creating these contracts, There's no like magic to this. It's just taking a text contract, putting it in JavaScript, and reformatting it. It actually should be very. You could, I think, you could use YAML maybe and mimic it one for one, and that might be a better idea. And maybe I'll do that. I don't like dealing with YAML and front end at all, so I probably wouldn't do that. But never say never. I never really know. So, all right. So that is that, and then we have this contract component, which this is what actually puts our main contract together. I may get rid of this, but I like it because if I want to reuse it for the other ones, it's helpful. And then you can see this is how we construct this is exactly how we construct our contract. Nothing special. It's the simplest thing. I'm just calling my constants, variables into scope, and saying, whatever's here, put it in here. Whatever's here, put it in here. Line break. And we're good. It's clean. It comes out as a very clean contract. And then we're going to store this in local storage as base64 URL, which it's interesting because I see a lot of people using just base64, and I was doing that for a while too. But Pact uses the URL encoding and decoding, so that should be used in our functions. I think that's fair. All right, so module block. How do I want to look this up? So, well, what I do is if, yeah, I think if might be the way. If it includes, yeah, that makes sense. So, if options dot what are our options? Looking for them. Options dot pre-sales. Pre-sales. Let me just copy that. If options dot pre-sales. Yeah, why not? So then what we would do is we would do why is my formatting going crazy? So this would be const SPE equals sales block module name. Is that how we did it? Namespace. How do I have this one? Module name, namespace options. Namespace is second. Yeah, because, why would we follow the order? Silly. Sorry, I'll periodically check in. Aren't you supposed to be working, man? Like, I obviously appreciate you jumping in, but you should use this too. I don't know what for, but maybe for a token. I don't know if Swarms has one though, or if it needs one. Probably needs one, if I had to guess. All right, so let's import. See if it knows where it's at. It should. Okay. And then we're gonna. I don't have treasury block yet, but let's see if it. So this would be like contract. Oh. That would basically append it to my current. I don't want to do that. So what we would need to do is, so this would be like, I don't know if I need to do anything. I think I could just leave it as SD. I think that's going to generate what I need. So, yeah. Should be good. What did I do? Why is it unhappy? Okay, options. Oh, okay. Do I not close something? Ah, yes, the input statement. Like, something here is unhappy. Alright, so SB. So then, SB. What? Sales contract equal so this would be like alright, so this would be sales contract equals cool. So then this would be sales contract. Cool. And then treasury contract. My treasury contract's not ready yet. I've got one condition that I'm still working on. It's just I'm just not happy with it. So this would be treasury. Like this. Yeah. There we go. This is a game lobby with his music. Yeah. I wonder if anybody's on Twitch. I don't think anybody is. I can tell if I look. If I look at my Twitch, I can obviously tell, but it shows me some stats, but it's not very clear. Like if somebody was on Twitch and they typed, I'd be able to know. But I don't think it shows me. I like yeah, I can change the music. That's not a problem. But so I just gotta. I don't think I need any of that. So yeah. Okay. So this is so this is just like the other one. Return. We'll be able to put something in there later. So then export. Well, issue that. All right. So we're also going to want to do const. DB sounds terrible. Treasury block. Module removal. Ah, what is wrong with me? Yeah, okay, so we'll just do yes contract. Okay. Come on, phone. Phone interrupts. I forget to turn off my headphones. Hey, what forgot to turn that off. All right. So what's that component? Sorry, my computer's a little laggy. I'm still running something in the background. So deployment cornfields. This one, that advanced options. So change it. Yep. Okay. Cool. I don't show the contract anymore because we don't need it. Sign and deploy. Message deploying contract. Contract and code. Oh, perfect. This is sales contract and Fisher. Yeah. So set generated contract. Initiate deploy. Okay. I really love Console Ninja. So tight. I love if you like console of like a secret or like something very secret. It's gonna just spill it out to the whole web. So I gotta be careful when I work. When I work in the front end, there's almost never a time where you would see something exposed. Because if you expose it in here, you can expose it to anybody, which is obviously crazy nonsense. But in the back end, it's really cool to put like private keys and API keys and all that cool stuff. And if you aren't thinking, you can very quickly show your API keys, as I've done before. And then I have to go change them. It's a pain. And then I remember never to do that again. So here we are. All right. So, yeah. Initiate deploy contract. Well, that's where it's going to get fun. How am I going to work that in? So, I think set generated contract so I can just show it. I think so. Or we're calling that modal. Okay. Yeah. So I don't need that right now. Actually, yeah, let's do that. Let's actually see what happens. Generated contract modal. Okay, so I changed all that. I'm gonna have to. I changed all my logic. I'm not gonna even try. I don't want to break anything. I don't need this anymore. I bet it's was passing it from somewhere else, and it doesn't exist anymore. But that's fine. So generated contract. Can ignore. So steps. Open modal deploy. This is where it's going to be a little tricky. That's okay. Let's see. Let's just see what happens. Let's see if we actually can generate these contracts. It gets hard to see what the heck's going on. Let's see. What are looking? Contract. Let me just make sure I'm logging this. Sales contract and treasury. All right. The less boring part. Yeah. Yeah, we are missing Hank. Where the heck is he? He's usually down to hang out. All right. So this module will be sales. Let's make sure utils deploy contract. Take key. Reflight. Submit. Okay, good. All right, so we can play around with this. So sales test. Oh, sales test 1. Yeah. 8 these form inputs. All right. Sales percentage 25. Let's see what she does. Okay, so those 20. Set whitelist. Oh, that makes sense. So when I clicked on that, see you, Ron. Hey, I gotta make that cancel this. Yeah, I have to fix that. I'm surprised it didn't log. Let's see. Deploy. Initiate deploy. Contract code. Well, that doesn't matter. So I generate my contract. Contract. Let's do something else. Try again. Is it not making it? Here. That's not in my if statement. That should be picked up. You bugger. It's generating the contract, though. I don't understand. It's generating this. Oh, okay. It just wasn't updating. That's why. Okay. So the treasury contract generated. Test1.gov. It came out right. Define namespace key set. Read key set KS. Read key set KS has an extra. Oh, because it's closing that line before. Lock date is today. So when you deploy this contract, it's locked. You can't actually change it. But that's a bug because that's just my crazy logic I made the other day. It doesn't actually enforce it because it doesn't need to. I just need to get rid of that. Lock date. How did it even make it into? All right, test one, governance test one. We can fix that. That's good. And then sales. Okay, good. So I need to fix this. Module undefined. Undefined. Pre-sales true. Pre-sales enabled. Why is it all undefined? That doesn't make sense. It's undefined when it comes in. Sales block. Stick a module name. Namespace. Module name. Namespace. Module name. Namespace options. Let's try namespace again and see if it's not making anything. Here. Salesman. I think it was test sales one, but it doesn't matter. Treasury contract 25. Okay, that's right. So sales contract is this one. Module name. Pre-sales enabled. Module name. What the heck? What do we do here? All right, let's see. Let's go to this. Let's go to this. I don't want to see this contract. No. Salesman. What a supply. So when it passes it in there, it's not defined. Contract. Sales block. Module block. I just something different in there. I think it's the same thing. Module block. Oh, yeah, I did. I'm passing it down. Duh. This auto formatting is really nice with these robots. Batches, amount per batch. Do one batches is 1,000. 1,000. Make sure there's nothing else. Module name. Module name. Yeah, that's fine. That looks better. Okay, so now we should be able to log this. See if it'll do it without a. It's requiring me to reload all of a sudden. All right. Hey, there we go. My namespace, key set. Define a key set on chain. This is an important step. So, believe it or not, this is one of the most crucial things. If you're going to create a new key set, you can't define it in your module code, and you can't just read the key set. We need to actually write it to the blockchain. So we can define this, write it to the chain. This is in our namespace, right? So only we have control over this namespace, theoretically, unless you give up your keys for some reason. But and then that will let you. So what's interesting is, I'm just gonna go on to a tangent for a second. So when you're defining your governance, it can be anything. Governance doesn't mean anything. You can call it whatever you want. You can call, you see where we have module sales one. You can call it tip of the iceberg. It does not matter. It's your choice what you call that. You're just defining it in here as a def cap. You can do other stuff, and you can do like enforce false in Brickit that way too. But like, I wouldn't do that personally, unless you were 100% confident that you would never need to like even make a single tweak. Some think a couple contracts are like that, but anyways, I digress. So when you define this, you do not like. Notice how I'm not like reading in a key set here. And that's not a problem. I think it's enforced key set ref, something like that. I use that in my contracts. I thought this was just easier because trying to rapidly get these out. But you're enforcing this specific key set. So if you, I'm going to put the ref guards. I think I'm going to put the ref guards in here. But if you were to do enforce and then just read a standard key set, what'll happen is you'll actually read whatever's provided to it and sign. You can put your own keys in there and sign it. This is going to go on chain and actually look and say, who can sign this? It's going to say, not you. Absolutely not you. And this is what I was talking about earlier with like the phases is you have phase 0 and phase 1. So phase 0, you'd set a date, and then phase. I need to move these back to time values, but essentially, it just helps you pick. I'm trying to think of how to word this. These values will determine if you're going to have a whitelist. That's going to be phase 0. And you don't have to remember any of this because it doesn't look like this for people filling out a form. But if you wanted a phase 1 start, that would be your public sale, essentially. So whitelist sale, public sale. And then when you're done, you just end sale, which is, yeah, somewhere down here. I was like, I know this is bigger. You would just end sales. And this contract would then essentially be useless. You're gonna move your funds over to our treasury contract, which is sales1-treasury. So it uses your module name, and then I'm gonna add treasury to it. Just like I'm gonna use your module name and then sales. So they're all unique for your module and in your namespace. So it's all your own unique little set of contracts. And so what'll happen here is we're going to transfer all of the funds to our treasury contract, which is going to be our management contract, essentially. And so what you can do from there is you can do a few things. The first is you can have it. You could use it for giveaways. It's your choice. So you can leave a lot of funds in the treasury. What Pascal had built, and I asked him if I could borrow this. We talked about it a lot. So I get like, it's being used for a tip bot, which is cool, right? It's like you can use it for those things. So I took all that out of this because I wanted a basic treasury management contract. If you wanted to be able to have all that other stuff, that's the big project. Like, it's not like we're just going to go implement it tomorrow. There's a lot that goes into that. I'm keeping this as not simple, but like so that it's safe. If I start adding too many features, I can't test it anymore. It's not safe anymore. It just becomes way too uncontrolled. And so the basics of when you end your sale and it goes into the treasury contract, you can manage your DEX liquidity. So you're gonna choose which percent goes into the liquidity pool. So the percentage of your token and the percentage of the KDA, and it'll math out and show you what the initial reserve will be. All those functions are in there. You'll be able to go here and load up your contract. So we just did. I like the muffin contract. And so then you would go in here and, like I said, when you reserve, whitelist is reserved. And what I'm trying to figure out right now is if I don't want like 50 buttons here. I just don't. But if you added a sales contract, that means you have a treasury contract too. That's going to add a whole bunch more functions to this, so that you can click on it. And if you wanted to end the sales, there would be an end sales button on here, and all you have to do is sign it and scan it. And what that'll do is that'll move all your funds, like I just said, transfer them all. And then from there, you'll go to your next function, which is your treasury, and you'll say, I want to establish the initial liquidity on the DEX. Here's the supply, here's what we're going to do. And then your stuff's out on the DEX. And then the last piece is, if you're running a liquidity account, like in here, like we did, like the new Bro Token's doing, and it's like what Heron does. If you have a smart contract that manages your liquidity pool, I know there's some other projects that have done this too. What you'll be able to do is you'll be able to scrape the rewards. And so then if you wanted to do a giveaway, you could use the liquidity generated from the sale to basically give out rewards. I think it's a perfect way to recycle. Now, some people will just take those funds and use them, and that's okay. I'm not going to judge on that. There's nothing wrong with that. What's cool is if you want to get back to the ecosystem, or you want to get back to your project and reward people, it doesn't dilute your supply. And I think that's so important. Like, I see people like churning out token, and just diluting the Jesus out of their supply. And I'm just like, your original holders get wrecked, and now you're just creating supply out of thin air. So it's like the big thing against POS chains. It's weird to me that just supply just poofed. But I get it. It's cool. It's fast. It's shiny objects. So we're just taking a more balanced approach here and saying if you wanted to deduct rewards from the liquidity provider account, which is basically um, accumulating based on your volume. So the more volume you have, the more rewards you'll have. And then you can start using those, add those up, and give them away as giveaways. And then the treasury account, you'll be able to use like our multi-transfer if you want to have like multiple receivers, like multiple winners. Or if you want to just do a simple transfer, you'll be able to use this. And so next, I'm going to add the modules for Fungible V2 in here. So if there's a module on chain, you'll be able to select it from here. So I want that to be controlled a little bit because, again, it's controlled in the sense that if we blacklist a contract, it won't show up in any of our tools. It'll just be gone. You won't be able to run code against it. I'll have tons of ways to avoid that. Just it is what it is. So that's like the 10,000 foot of how we're going to manage those. That contract's being generated now means I just have to get the treasury loaded and then build these. And if anybody saw me last time, these take about 15 to 20 minutes each. Thank you, Greg. About 15 to 20 minutes each. And so not insignificant. I'm probably going to add another 10 for this to manage your smart contract. And I'm going to ask somebody to help me reorganize this a little bit because it's going to get a little gaudy. And I don't mind building it, right? I can make all this work. I just can't make it pretty. So help me make this a little prettier. So I'm happy that we got it working. Like this button probably should be a different color. The grays are boring, but it works for me. And I want to tinker with this background again. But the last time I did it was like 45 minutes, and I ended up almost back where I started. So click the little robot guy, start messaging. Yeah, we read that. Like the little robot messenger. But yeah, that's it. I can't explain or I can't tell you when this will be ready, but like the basic stuff all works. You can use these templates here. They all work. Like you can go mint an NFT. If you have it on IPFS or a link already, you can go mint it yourself, like right now. So like that kind of stuff all works. You can see a lot of this stuff. I tried to make it as simple as I could, and for like something like this, I may change it so that you could put like a different value in the form, but it's kind of like a nice, here's my account that's attached. You can see it up here. I want to say what chain we're working off of, and we're on test net 04. So I hope that kind of helps. I'm not a good UX designer. I like working in, I know I'm going to get black for this. I like being a back-end developer. I like tinkering with the smart contracts, and I like building APIs, and I like connecting. I just don't like front end work. I think that 90% of my time is spent doing CSS that every front end dev does. A lot of time on design and stuff like that. But for me, I just want to make the function. I want to make it functional, and I don't care how it looks so much. I want it to look good, and that's why I usually yield to Squeegee because he makes it look good. And then the most important thing is our docs, which do take us to our doc site. So, this one was important. I'm actually gonna put a note in here like Echo is on chain 2 and KD Swap is on chain 1. So people know if they want to use KD Swap, they should go to chain 1. I think that's pretty simple. And then when I showed that governance lockdown earlier, this thing, let's see, you can kind of see it. Maybe Defcons lock date enforce. So now you can see in the governance cap. I know it's really hard to see. You can see that it's enforcing that now. Didn't make it bigger. You can see now if the lock date is greater than the current time, then the contract is locked. Can't upgrade it anymore. So if the current time is past the lock date, yeah, it's a very simple way to control your contract, and then nobody can ever upgrade it. You can't have it stolen. You can't have that. So I've actually moved some of my contracts into that, and I'm going to. Um, that would be great. I just don't like web design. I actually I love what I love doing is building a site like this in an afternoon. A very simple version of it. Make it work, make it functional, and then hand it off and say, hey, look, here's the concept. And you can a designer make this really good, and then can somebody actually build it? It's not throwaway code, but this is what I enjoy. If I'm going to do any front end stuff, I just enjoy a quick little site like this. But yeah, I'm going to go back and keep plugging away at this. Sales is good now. So the TP, what did I call it? Yeah, treasury block, so treasury contract. So when this is done tonight, I don't know what I'm doing tonight, but maybe tonight, I promised Ron and a couple others I'll open this up for them on a special place. Andrew, I'll probably open this up for you too, and let you guys go to town on it a little bit more. There's like these little like nuances still that I got to figure out why certain things are happening, but they're more just like UI pain points more than anything. I mean, the pack stuff works, deploying works. I actually showed. Let me see if I've got it. Yeah, look, the kitty. Let me see if I can pull it up on here. Do you see chain 18 is not good? Oh. I wonder why it's doing that. Huh. See, little things like that. That's interesting. What did I do? One. It's not telling us, but you need a minimum of 2 KDA to do this. That's why it's failing. So, like I said, it's like those little things. I got to get better error handling there. See if this kind of has it. Yeah, perfect. So yeah, I like how this works a lot more now. Yeah, so you can track your transactions, and so the last thing I want to do on here is perfect. It's still working. So as these finish, if you took off all these, it will only show you the ones that are actually complete. It's stupid simple, but like it's important, right? You don't want to sort through because you could have 70 of these going at once, and they're just going to keep adding. So I'm handling each modal independently a little bit because they're all very, very different. Like cross-chain is different than normal, so I wanted to handle it a little different. But this is where having like a good web developer would come in and be like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I would say, "I don't know. I just wanted my shadows on here." So that's it. That's close that and pull it back up. So eventually that'll start populating, but I'm thinking about just using gas stations, just going back and using gas stations because it is a small amount, but I can't control it. So you could just then take transactions and drain my gas station, and there's nothing I could do about it. And I'd be very disappointed. And the problem is that would happen, and there are people who would do that. And I said their fault. I can't control it. So, so better to me just not do it. So yeah, so you'll see they'll start populating. It's kind of cool. And then, like, I don't know how to say this like politely, but like that's how long a cross chain takes. It's not that long. If you're on a busy chain, though, it can take a while. It can take longer. A congested chain, it can just take longer. And I'm on testnet, so it's even a little more different. But yeah, so you just see they took along. This one's closer than this one, right? So these are the various steps you need. If you've used any of the other sites that I think Isoko does this, They kind of handle like cross-chain for you, so it's kind of cool. It's if you know the process, it's not a problem. You can absolutely do this. I make people on our marketplace. I just make people have funds on Chain8 because I'm just a jerk. I suppose I could implement this. It's just like that was their feature, and I wanted them to have that, and didn't want to trample on what they've done or steal it. So I think it's cool. I think it's nice, and it's cool to see others like taking the effort to get that stuff working. So it's not hard to swap. No, it's not hard to swap tokens between chains. And you can come to our tool and click a button and swap to as many chains as you want. So we've got all the handling for it now. So I think I gotta go pick up the kids now, but I hope this was helpful. It's very, very close. The things that I work on in between when I've shown this off are more of the tedious stuff that is just little cleanup and making sure format's good and working through it fully. So, but you can see we got our sales contract. That was one of the last hurdles, treasury, and then we're doing it. So, yeah, chain tool will probably be for now. I think that'll be the most popular. That's pretty standard. So, but it's open to people using what they want. If you want to use ADS, I fully support that. If you want to use Echo, I support that too. The trick will be I need to test this on that DEX. I don't know if anything's different, but if it is, I'm going to have to do a lot of testing. So like for now, you can only deploy it on Chain 2 if you want it on the DEX. I think, yeah, right now, because I usually go back and validate. So I have a working DEX for both on REPL, so I'll go back and test that and throw it on DevNet and test it there, and we'll be good to go. So on that note, again, if you wouldn't mind giving us a follow on the YouTube, I think I can push it back. It's at Kadeni. Pretty easy to find. I'd appreciate it. I know these stream to YouTube. I stream a lot of the people who view this actually see it on Twitter, which is cool, or X, whatever we're calling it now. X is a lot of cool new stuff, and I think that's where getting the most reach is going to come from. When I do I have recordings that are just need to get mocked or cleaned up now. For like each one's like a function of Act. Like this function does this. Here's examples of it. Here's how you can use it. Good. And I want that for like my personal doc site for people to check out. But that's going to be recorded. Everything will be uploaded to YouTube and to X. So, like I said, I just get the most reach on X, but I need to up my YouTube stats so I can get more views on there, and that opens up just more people to see it. And people do like those recordings sometimes because you can they're a lot easier to manage. But I've noticed like I don't qualify for like their newer tools, but like seeing some of the other people who stream a lot to Twitter, I can't say X, but Twitter, they have some cool tools now, and so I'm looking forward to seeing when I can get my hands on those and see what the difference is. But it's like hanging out and talking and showing what I'm working on. It's more fun to share than to just hide it all, so it's enjoyable. But I appreciate you guys stopping by, and I hope that everybody has a good day. And I would stream every day, but I'm trying to get a schedule put together. Now that I have my voice, it feels like I can talk multiple days now and be okay. We'll get more. I think it's going to be streamed 2 days a week and video content 3 days, or vice versa, because I'm terrible at remembering things. But it's going to be one of those two. So we'll start streaming 2 days, and then the other days will be record video, edit it, and drop it. Hopefully same day. So content's like coming through. It would be an ideal state, but it's tough to manage all those moving parts and actually get things done. So I want to make sure I don't drop off getting things done and keep moving forward. So appreciate everybody. Have a good day, and I'll be back.